here, right? Oh,
All right,
I'm
Mrs.
here.
Chair, you are live.
thank you. Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Arts and Public Places Commission meeting on February 22nd, 2022. It is 7 p.m. First round of business is the call to order. And Joe, could you do a roll call, please, for attendance?
I can in just a second.
Okay, that's fine.
There we go. Okay. Genevieve,
Here.
David,
Present.
Joe here, Barbara,
Here.
and Cynthia.
Here.
And Crystal, yeah, she'll be
Chris is
joining.
not here yet. Okay.
She'll be joining us later. Second is the approval of the agenda for this evening. Are there any objections to our agenda? If not, we'll go ahead and do a roll call to approve. All right, Joe, work your magic, please.
Can't hear you, Joe. You're on mute.
I'm going in the same order. Genevieve,
I approve.
David,
Approved.
Joe, approve, Barbara,
Can I approve even though I wasn't here or not?
Oh, this is the agenda first.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yep.
and Cynthia.
Approve.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Okay, now we'll move on to the January 25th minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? If so, is there any errors or descriptions on it that need to be corrected? Okay, we do a roll call to approve the minutes from January 25th, 2022, please, Joe.
Genevieve,
Yay.
David,
I was partial during the meeting, but the meeting parts I was there, I approve of.
thank you. Joe, I, and Cynthia.
Yes.
Fabulous. Okay, it takes us into old business. First up is Poet Laureate and gallery updates. And I will let Barbara have the floor, please.
Sure. I just got off actually the phone with Maggie Bench, our poet laureate, and we are trying to get everything set up for March. So we'll be the first item on the agenda for March for the Poetry Month activities. And she's touched base with Laura Gutierrez, which is great. So hopefully they'll be able to add that program for April. So we'll have more on that in March.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions about Poetry Month coming up or the Poet Laureate for Barbara?
Nope.
Questions on programming? I was just trying to pull up Audrey Lee's email here, so bear with me for a moment for gallery updates. So the one thing that Audrey was talking with us about for doing receptions at City Hall, now that our numbers are back down again, we can have some sort of end reception for the gallery. So she was wondering, and both her and Eric were wondering, if we held the reception outside in that little courtyard area, if when you're at City Hall and you walk all the way out towards the parking garage, there is a little courtyard where they eat lunch and sometimes gather. Any thoughts on this idea? Should we move forward exploring it? She was talking about having them spruce it up a little bit, maybe with some lights. I believe we talked about it with Brian a little bit too.
I've never been out there. How many seats are there?
So I think there's like 3 picnic tables out there, or maybe 2 picnic tables, but it's an open courtyard area when you pull into the Hillman Garage off of Duke of Gloucester, it's to your right as you pass City Hall in
The
the
little
back.
path that goes through.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah, it's up above that little path. So
Okay. And it's got direct access to the hallway where the arts.
yes, yep, it's right off that hall.
Okay. That would be cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless the weather is decent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, weather permitting, and
Yeah, I think it's nice to first of all think about being in person, but it's
Yeah.
a nice way to signal some safety. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Agreed.
like it.
awesome. Okay. I will tell her to continue to move forward with that and explore it and see how we can work it out with City Hall to make it a thing. The February, March shows, plural, are up, and they're at Pitt Moyer. They have Michael Paschal is in place. And then, I don't know if anybody's been there to see that yet. I haven't gotten over there. I'm sure Archie's seen it. And the one at City Hall is in as well. And it's Mike Clemens. And I will send out the press releases that she gave me so you guys can share it with your friends, email lists, and social media too as well. And so that is the gallery updates for now. Proposed mural updates. So next month we will have Jason Leggett proposing his mural for the Arts District. It is on a private owner's building, but he has permission and he's putting together the full proposal, filling out all the paperwork and everything. So I'll have him on the agenda for next month. This month, Laura's just going to give us an update on the poetry mural that they have a conception of, and it's still in the works. She'll explain it more when she presents, but we're trying to find a location. So we'll start thinking about possibilities for that, if you could, please. The Eva Cassidy mural, I do have an update on that. That is going in front of HPC in April. And so at this time, they haven't asked for any letters of support, but I will double check with Jeff and see, and also with John Tower, who's helping to present them to HPC, see if they need something from AIPPC commissioners. I know this is a mural that has been long in the works and has been long awaited. So, and the building owner has approved it. So we just have to get it through HPC because it's in the historic district. And then he believes he has the funding for it, but we'll know better in April after it's approved. So we'll have him come and talk to us. And later, Archie's going to talk about his mural, and that's basically all I have for mural updates right now. Joe, do we have any grant updates?
I do not, except the letter of support for it's not our grant, but the letter of support for the Arts Council grant.
Yeah.
For the NEA.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Arts Council has applied for an NEA grant for Arts Month in Anne Arundel County. And they asked for a letter of support from Arts and Public Places. And of course, this benefits our local artists during Arts Month. If we can expand the funding, they plan on giving out grants up to $20,000 from this NEA grant. So it's pretty exciting, and hopefully they get approved. So everybody cross your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Public outreach updates. David, you have one about the talent show that I just forwarded.
Rectamundo. So last year, two local fraternities, Omega Psi Phi and Delta Sigma Theta, sponsored a talent show, showcasing talent from folks from grades 9 through 12. They're doing it again this year. Actually, this is being sponsored primarily by the Omega Psi Phi, with the Delta groups supporting. Actually, unfortunately, the registration portion, the talent acceptance part, ended on the 18th. But the event is on March 12th, March 19th, I'm sorry, Saturday, March 19th from 2 to 4 at Magothy River Middle School. So it's a talent hunt from grades like 9 to 12, and they're cash prizes. So if you happen to be in the neighborhood, want to see some talent for future events, want to know what kind of, what's up and coming talent, please come to attend. I've been asked to be a judge, so it should be interesting. So there, that's going on. And again, Saturday, March 19th at Magothy Middle School.
Awesome. I also posted some events on our Facebook page, and today was Inner West Street had live music. Well, I think they did. I'm not sure if they got canceled because of the rain, but they had been planning to, I will double check. If it's been rescheduled, I'll let you all know, but they were having live music for 2/2 Tuesday because it's 2/22/2022. Also, I'm going to have a presenter later to talk about the MLK Junior Parade and the African Dysphoria Festival in Annapolis. So that is coming up. So there is information on our page, and you'll find out more about it in our new business. There's also the Black Wall Street Marketplace as being a pop-up on February 27th, and that's from noon to 5 p.m. at Pitt Moyer Recreation Center. They have vendors and music, and they have artisan vendors. So if you have an opportunity, please pop in and check that out. The Mitchell Gallery has a current gallery exhibit that they have on YouTube that you can watch. And it's The Floating Beauty. It's women in the art of ukiyo-e. I'm not sure if I said that right, so please forgive me. But that is on our webpage, our Facebook page as well. The first round of calls for artists through the county for a mural has closed, and they'll have a second round soon. I don't have an update besides the fact that it was closed on February 18th, and they did have some applicants. So that'll be exciting. And that's for the parking lot facing side of the Arundel Center on 44 Calvert Street in Annapolis. And I should have mentioned that in the mural update, sorry. So that's what I have for outreach updates currently, besides the ones that we'll have in our new business. Does anybody have any other outreach updates? Okay. We'll go to the budget. I sent it out. Hopefully everybody saw my my note in the email. We're just working with the entry error, and hopefully that gets rectified, and we'll have the full budget displayed for us to vote on spending in the proper amount by next month. So, and the only other old business that we have to discuss today is the Jazz and Roots Festival that was presented to us last month, and we asked them to come back, and after we talked to Ashley about how we could actually handle funding this festival, and it was agreed upon that there would be a sponsored event by AIPPC if voted favorably, but this is how it would be set up, is that it would be noted that this is an AIPPC funded event for the Jazz Festival. It would be open and free to the public, and the performing musicians would be local musicians. So I believe Paulina and Teresa were to come and present. Madeline, are they here?
They are not.
Okay. So we'll move on then. Does anybody else have any old business to discuss before we move on to new business? Okay, well then we'll move on to Director Trader to present to us the basketball court mural.
Okay, well, I want to thank you all for your time, giving me the opportunity to talk about what I think is a wonderful unique opportunity to document history. The Men's Summer Basketball League is the oldest recreation program of the Annapolis Recreation and Parks Department. It's approximately 46 years old. It started in Eastport on Chester and 3rd Street. If any of you are familiar with outdoor basketball, Summer League basketball, the Rutgers League in New York, the Baker League in Philadelphia, and many other leagues throughout the country really got it started in the early 70s. The Men's Summer League in Annapolis started in 1973. I was 17 years old and I won the first championship. Had to mention that. And there are many players that have gone through and became Division I, Division II, Division III players. In fact, in 1981, the league moved to the Truxtun Park, at which time you had coaches, John Thompson came to the league to scout certain players. But the unique thing about this league was that it was truly a community league, truly where grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, everyone came out, to see the games. And it was truly an entertainment for the community. And we played twice a week, and we still play twice a week. And we think that it's worth documenting, it's worth creating a mural because it has such a historical significance in the city of Annapolis. Even today, you'll have people, that are able to really recall and talk about, those days. And I have to say that the Eastport start was at its heyday. It's not as popular as it once was, but we plan to try to get that back to a community-based league. It was once in the beginning an unlimited league. Unlimited means that you could be any age and actually play in a league if you were good enough. And then in 1981, when it came to Truxtun Park, it became NCAA sanctioned. So when it became NCAA sanctioned, that meant that college players could actually play in the league. So basically, that's it. There's hundreds and hundreds of players that have gone through this league. They've gone on to be coaches. They've gone on to be players. They've gone on to be, very productive members of society. I mean, I'm going to have to say yours truly. It's been a long time. It's the league is still going on today and still producing great participation. But let me take a different route right now. You've just heard about the 5 children being shot in Annapolis recently. And recreation, I'm not going to say it can solve the problem, but we have to get these children involved in recreational participation programs, activities, and events. And I just want to use the Summer League as one example whereby, a lot of young people participated and tend to avoid the life of crime, tend to avoid, the pitfalls of bad behavior, and they go on to live productive lives. But my main point is that this is an historical event that continues today as we speak. And I'm asking for $5,000 to get us started. There will be It will be 75 feet long. Has everybody gotten the proposal? Did everybody get the copy of the proposal?
Yes, I sent it out to everybody.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So the 75 feet long at the top of the bleachers and 10 feet high, that's where it's going to be placed. Now, the marine grade plywood that's going to be used so that Jeff Huntington of Future History Now he has agreed verbally to do the painting, to do the mural. We will incur the cost for the marine grade plywood and the installation of that framework. So the Annapolis Recreation Parks will take responsibility for that funding for that part of the project. Any questions?
So the $5,000, what does that cover?
It covers the rendering, which the rendering is actually $1,000 for the rendering, and then I would incorporate the $4,000 into the into the 50% requirement necessary for him to get started.
So they say down payment for him. Okay.
So it's $18,000 total. I would have to come up with 50% for him to get started on the project, and then the remainder of the other 50% would come after he finishes.
So is the hope of the mural to draw more people into coming to see and participate in the event?
It's an interesting point, but that wasn't the point of it. It will, to be honest with you, it will draw up more people, but I never thought of it that way. My sense is that we really wanted to document the history of the league and show people, what it used to look like. I'm in the process of collecting actual photographs of the action play, as well as teams, group pictures, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, because I live across the street, so I've seen the Tyler Avenue packed with cars and stuff, and so I know it's been a popular event. The last couple of summers, I haven't been across the street from it, so it's good to see that it's still kind of continuing on. I think and again, I'm down the street also from the drama that happened last night. So obviously, getting people off the streets is an important aspect of keeping them active and giving them other opportunities to kind of see other different aspects of life other than a life of crime. So I agree. Go.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull up.
Archie, according to the sheet, it says April. Is that the time frame you're hoping that Jeff will start the mural, and how long do you think it'll take?
It should take maybe a month and a half, something like that.
Okay.
It shouldn't take too long because Jeff doesn't work alone. He incorporates volunteers and other people in his organization.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else with questions for for the Director Trader? Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask the commission, do we have a motion to support Director Trader's mural and fund the $5,000?
Oops, I'm trying to get my act together here.
Okay.
This is Dave. Sorry, I'd like to make a motion to support the Mr. Trader's efforts for a mural.
Do we have a second?
I'd like to second it.
I do a roll call. Joe, please.
Genevieve,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Joe, yes. Barbara,
Yes.
Cynthia.
Well, we usually would follow the procedure where Jeff or his representative with Future History Now would come before the commission and show us, you know, his idea, his conception. So I am wondering, you know, are we sort of jumping the queue a little bit, and before seeing Jeff's rendition voting already?
The 5,000 was for Jeff to do the rendition.
Right, but usually Jeff will come and present himself his rendition. I mean, that's what we've always done in the past, just like he's going to come and show us the Eva Cassidy.
Okay, but we're in a vote right now, not in discussion. So is it yay or nay from you, Cynthia?
Well, I'm going to abstain until I see Jeff's rendition.
Okay.
Well, there was one picture of his rendition, and I'm pretty sure that that's not the protocol that you're asking for. But there was a concept in the proposal which Jeff actually provided for the proposal.
Okay,
Yeah.
was that an attachment? I did not see that.
Yeah, I was looking for the email so I can look at this, see if there was a visual of.
Yeah, Jeff did provide that concept. It's in the proposal that I sent.
Let's see if it was in the old.
I just saw the application.
Yeah, that's all I saw too.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll pull up the old proposal. Let's see.
Do you have a date when it was sent?
Well, hold on. Let's see here. Oh, here's the, okay. I've got his scope of work, but I don't have a visual yet. Hold on a second. Let me see. Okay. Let's see if I can send here.
I sent
Yep.
that. Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it here.
Okay.
Let's send this out. And then, okay. This email I just sent has Jeff's proposal attached to it, as well as the visuals.
Yes.
Okay.
The proposal and the scope of work.
Hey, Madeline, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
You should have permission to,
Okay.
yes. Do you know how? It's the green button.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. It's giving me. Yes. And then I have to change my Zoom preferences.
Hmm. Got an email yet?
When you see this, when you're looking at a picture of the actual court, and Jeff inserted the
Yeah.
rendition of the actual mural into the actual court area.
No, it's not. Let's try it again.
You didn't get the email yet either.
I sent the email out.
Yeah, okay, just refreshing. Got it.
Okay. Currently, I guess my security systems are not allowing me to share my screen, so I'm just trying to change this. Won't unlock it. Technology.
Mr. Trader, can you share your screen? Is it possible? Do you have the email up that you can share?
I don't know.
Okay.
Or if someone sends it to me, I could share it.
I guess I can do that. Let me do that.
Yeah, because it still hasn't arrived in my email yet.
Okay.
All right, Madeline, I sent it to you while I sit here and try to mess with my security system.
My Annapolis.gov email, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Still haven't got it yet.
I am also still haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it either. And Genevieve, you know I get emails from you.
I just got it.
Okay, there it just came through. Okay, there we go. Document, PDF,
cool.
scope of work. It's not in that. The mural rough draft.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
And the proposal towards
Yes.
towards the
Okay.
end.
It's still kind of hard to see the imagery, but I get the idea where he's doing it.
Yeah, make it bigger.
I'm trying to. I can do that. I'm in IT.
Yes, great. Yeah, can you come fix my computer?
Yeah, okay. But only goes so big though.
My my IT's downstairs.
But that does give you the concept, I presume.
Yeah. Cool idea though. Okay. Well, maybe we can amend the amendment by just saying we can temporary vote now to approve it based on the concept that Jeff will come up with. I mean, it's kind of hard to see that imagery in terms of what the image is going to look like, but I get the idea. It's kind of cool.
Would you like me to request that Jeff contact you, or should I schedule that through you myself?
Well, the problem is we're already in a vote and we already have, we're not even technically supposed to be having this discussion because we're already in a vote. So we already have a majority vote to approve the funding. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary? Yes.
That is correct.
Okay, so we had, so we can move forward with the 5,000, but yes, I think we can schedule, hopefully.
Well,
Jeff
excuse
to
me,
come back.
excuse me. Since Jeff is coming to our next meeting to discuss the Eva Cassidy
Oh, I don't know if
mural.
he is. No, he's not, because he's going to HPC in April.
Oh,
And we-
okay. Well, I got the email that was sent and I reviewed it, and based on the very high quality proposal and the past work of Future History Now, I would say I would vote aye for this proposal. I reviewed the black and white picture and I think he's going to do a fabulous job. So I vote yes.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
So that's an all in favor.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. There'll be a collage of those types of photographs from many scenarios and situations.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Director Trader.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much.
1 second.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Okay. Madeline, has Teresa or Paulina joined us?
They have not. Laura and David are in the attendee list.
Okay. I think Laura had to do something real quick, so I might let David go first. Yeah. So, we'll have David present his Martin Luther King Parade and Festival sponsorship ask, please.
You should be in a minute.
Thank you.
I am sending the prompt and getting an error message saying that I couldn't promote him to panelist.
Oh, no.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No,
Oh, the
not
other day.
you.
Seeing a prompt on your computer to come in as a panelist?
Yes, Mr. Stansbury.
Okay. The different David.
Yes. He said he accepted it.
Okay, unless you're, but David Stansbury, you can talk, right? I gave you permission to talk.
There he goes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, so you could either do it just by talking. If you have anything that you need to share, my best recommendation, because I've never seen this before, is to leave and come back in.
All right, let's try that. See you guys in a sec.
Okay.
That, or he could email it to one of you and you could bring it on the screen.
Yeah, I have it up.
Yeah, I already sent it out to everybody.
I'm getting the same error code, so that might be what we have to do, but I gave him permission to talk again.
Okay.
I can bring up, I can try to share if we want to.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, let me try this, join this panelist again. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. We can hear you though, so you can
You want me
talk.
to share anything or try to share anything?
I can see it. I've got a copy, I think, of the material.
Yeah, this is, if we can talk. Yeah, I have a copy of it up to the budget.
You guys just want me to talk.
Ooh. One day we'll be able to meet in person after be dealing with all this drama.
Man.
Oh, this is the guy who wants to keep meetings virtual forever.
No, I'd love to keep them virtual. No, I'd love to have the option of virtuality. So, just in the event.
Oh, the truth comes out now.
Oh, I'm all about staying home. Don't get me wrong. My couch and I have become very good friends over the last 2 years.
Do you need a new one yet?
Got blankets. I'm ready to, snuggle up. So,
At a well-worn spot.
yes, it is. Right here is my spot.
Okay.
I can share something. I can share maybe and try to share if that'll make life easier. Or your call, Genevieve.
I think we're good. Let's
Okay.
let David go ahead and talk.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
stop
thank-
over talking him.
No, great. Thank you guys for your time. I'm sorry that you can't see my face, but I can see your beautiful faces. I am the co-chairperson and the entertainment chairperson of the MLK Parade and Diaspora Festival, sponsored by the Annapolis Drum and Bugle Corps and the city of Annapolis. The event was birthed from Miss Pat Montague, who's the leader of the Drum and Bugle Corps. And just in recent years, they decided to add a festival portion to it, to the parade. Now, they used to do this parade in January, close to his Martin Luther King's birthday, but the temperatures were always so crazy. So it was hard to play instruments and do that sort of thing in the wintertime. So they moved it to April, which is closer to his assassination. But so that works out a lot better, but the point of it is still to commemorate the life, work, and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, just to bring everybody together and continue the fight for, equal rights for all. So with the festival portion will be held downtown Annapolis at the dock. That will begin at 1 o'clock. The parade's at 12. So we'll have entertainment from 1 to 6 p.m. And I'm a strong advocate for our local artists. I myself I'm a local musical artist. Mr. David Arthur probably doesn't remember me, but
I remember you.
okay.
We go way back.
Yes,
Stansbury
sir.
Singers and Kunta Kinte back in the day. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Little
I got
kid
you.
barely see over the drum set. Yeah.
All right.
So, so I'm still here and still working. So I've seen other festivals come into the city, or people put on other festivals, and they ask the local artists to perform for free. Then they give all the resources to outside artists. And to me, that is unfair and is not helping your local artists. How can you give all the resources to the outsiders as if your local artists aren't good enough? We have local artists who are just as good, if not better, than a lot of professionals. So I really want to make sure that our local artists are taken care of. If you see the budget that I sent Genevieve, everybody who's on this roster so far, all the way down to the sound man, are local artists. You know, Ronnie Queen, most of you probably may have heard him. He's a sound man. He has his own band. And we just want to promote, we want to be Annapolis strong for this event. That's how I see it. Yes, I'm not sure what the sign language means, but it's great. But we want to be Annapolis strong. That's where we're really, I'm trying to go with it as the entertainment chairperson. So any questions for me?
And I guess everybody that on your list is already committed.
Everybody's committed, but I do not haven't been able to give them any deposits yet. So everybody right now is word of mouth, but they're all committed. One band who was not on here, who I talked with tonight, was a soul band. What was their name?
Rain.
Right.
No, Rain. 360. Mooney Day Band.
Honestly Soul. They're not on this list, but yes, everybody's committed to being a part so far.
Okay. Cool. And you're asking for, let's see how much.
I think it's
8,000. Yes.
David, I have a question.
Yes,
Your proposal, this is Barbara.
Yeah.
Your proposal says 8,000 needed by March 14th. That's just simply for entertainment. Would that include also the additional act that you mentioned that's not listed, or would you require more than that?
I would probably, because I'm thinking we may not do the stream. So I put the stream on there. So we'll probably just allocate those funds to another act instead of doing the live stream if we have to. That's not a necessity. It'd be nice, but it's not a necessity. And I would rather, put that toward this artist that I talked with tonight, because I really want this artist to be on it, because they're a multicultural band. So they had white, black, and females. And I think that's what it's all about. If we're going to celebrate MLK, let's definitely have, some integration, if you will, going on here. So.
Great. Thanks, David.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, are you here? Awesome. I have a question for you, Ashley.
I'm here. What's up?
So he needs the funding prior to the event occurring, and generally how our payout occurs is that we pay after the performance.
Okay.
Is there a way that we can make that happen for him?
Yeah, we've made exceptions in the past. We just need to talk to the director of finance and let her know what's going on.
Okay.
I mean, it's the exception and not the, but if there's a legitimate reason for it, usually we can make it work around.
Okay, thank you. And to verify before we call a vote. Any other questions? Well, thank you, Mr. Stansberry, for the presentation. And
Yes, ma'am.
at this time, I'd like to ask the commission, do we have a motion to sponsor the MLK Entertainment?
I will make that motion.
Do I have a second?
David, I second.
Joe, could you please do a roll call?
Genevieve,
Yes,
David,
And this is to fund the $8,000, correct?
correct. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Joe, yes. Barbara,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
and Krista, are you here?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
I will be in touch, David, and let you know how we're going to proceed forward with this. But thank you
Okay.
so much for coming tonight and getting your applications and everything in.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great night. Friend me on Facebook so we can be friends. This is
Perfect. We'll
All right.
all find you, and we're looking forward to the performance.
all
Thank you.
right. Awesome. You have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You too.
Okay, next on the agenda is Laura Gutierrez from the mayor's office.
You should be here in a sec. Also, just so you know, Teresa and Paulina are now in the attendee list.
Awesome. I'll let Laura go first and then we'll circle back.
Hello. Sorry,
It's okay.
I'm on my phone, which has a camera, and on my computer, which has the screen. So I'm trying to figure out what the best way of presenting here is. So is there any way that I can actually, there we go. Now I just got shared on the other one. So I'm just gonna click out of this one real quick and join from my computer. I think it's easier. Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Should be good. Yes. Great. Okay, so I don't think I can actually share my screen here. Let's see. But I also emailed the presentation and shared it with you, Genevieve. I don't know if other than
Did you do it just now?
Just did it.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. So,
Oh, I see a screen.
all right. So can we see that?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, so thank you guys so much for having me today. I want to share a couple of things that we're doing with art in public places, but also I have two concrete proposals and asks that I'm hoping we can work on this fiscal year together. So first of all, I just wanted to share from our Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos event, which Art in Public Places also supported and helped one of our artists join us. Here are some photos from that day, and there's a quick video I wanted to share with you guys. So let's see if this works. Hopefully it will work.
Is anybody there? Hello?
Yes, Krista, we're watching a video.
So I wanted to share that just because that's one of the first times I think we formally did a partnership with Art in Public Places and a Hispanic outreach portion of the work here in the mayor's office. And we were really, really excited with the results. We had about 2,500 people turn out this year. The Day of the Dead Festival was at Maryland Hall. So I just wanted to sort of show that as one of the successful partnerships we have had. Oops, and now I'm starting that again by mistake. So the other one was we launched a poetry contest in last April. And here's a image of the design of our front and back cover because I didn't have the actual photo of the book to share with you guys. We got 100 copies printed and we were able to launch this book. The contest was in April. I think I shared it with the commission at one point. Basically, what we did was ask the question where I am from and had people submit poems responding to that. And that's a poem that was actually already written and has been used in many classrooms across the country. And here in the city of Annapolis, at Annapolis High School, one of our teachers at Annapolis High School, Miss Pittman, actually did this assignment. And while she was asking me if I could help her to translate some of the poems, I just got really excited about reading the stories that were coming from the youth of Annapolis. And we ended up expanding on that, launching a poetry contest, creating a book, sharing an event where students were able to read poetry that they had written and then gotten published in this book. So it was really, really an exciting time for everyone. And we had a huge, huge demand for this book. So one of the things I'm asking today is if there is a possible collaboration here and support from the Art in Public Places Commission to print another 100. We have about 55 copies already that have been requested and we don't have the funds to print more. And then it would be great to be able to have some that we can distribute to our libraries. We only were able to give one copy to the Annapolis Library on West Street, the Michael Bush Library. So we were hoping to be able to distribute to our Annapolis libraries as well, so this could live on. And we are actually looking to do this again this year. So again, in April, we will launch a poetry contest and then try to get a book published again. So there's some, we had youth from all over the city send poetry and very different stories that came out of it. I just wanted to highlight a few of them. I'm not going to read them, but if you guys want, we do have books that we can share. I have 3 copies in my office that we can share that. And I can also share the digital version of all of the poems. But these were some of the ones that were read that I really, really enjoyed and thought I should share quickly. And then this is the one I really want to highlight, which I did read this to you guys last time. And we had, this is sort of the story that started it all from a young boy who's actually 16 now. So he was 15 when he wrote it, from El Salvador. And he talks about the city that he's from and the landscapes and the hardworking people and the culture and traditions, and shares some myths from his culture. And then, how he then had to leave El Salvador because of the violence in that city, in the city he lived in and the country in general. So from this poem, we have been inspired to do all these different things like the book, but we also were really, really excited about the idea of trying to create a mural from this poem. And in general, trying to create more murals around the city that could reflect and share the stories of immigrants in the city of Annapolis, and highlight the stories of the people who live in our city who have recently arrived, who have really had very difficult paths to get here, and whose stories are sometimes not highlighted, that sometimes are invisibilized, and this could be a great way to actually shed some light on that. So I mentioned the first proposal, which was if we could print another 100 extra copies of this book, we would probably have them all out again as soon as we got them printed. The budget is a little bit under $800 for printing 100. And then the second is to be able to actually create this mural with the images depicted in Jose's poem. The idea is to do a 10-foot by 12-foot mural as an initial proposal. An estimated cost of what we're thinking it might cost is around $8,500, though this is not set in stone, and this is not, that really all depends on primer for walls and things like that. And also whether we can get some private support for this project, which is probable too. So there's a group of 4 Latino artists who live in Annapolis, and Glory Paredes, Marvin Iraid, Jose Luis Mejía, and Jose Luis Mancilla, and this is some of their artwork. The 4 of them are interested in coming together to do this mural. And they did a quick sketch of something that could work to share the story and the images that came out of this poem of Jose's that I had shown earlier. And so you can see at the top left, a city in El Salvador. And then as you go down, you'll see on the left-hand side that the stories are being read to the youth. And in the middle, you'll see some of these different myths and figures, mythical creatures and figures from the stories of Salvadorian culture. Moving to the right, the journey and the migration and lives lost as folks try to cross the border. And then they were still sort of working on what the best idea of depicting the arrival to Annapolis is. They like the idea of the Navy jets that's just so iconic of our city and this sort of downtown scene, and how we've been able to bring in some traditional dances through festivals. So this is one of their initial proposals of something we could do. And then writing in somehow the poem throughout this, or creating a plaque that would go next to it. That is sort of, the idea is to sort of discuss this, see if there's any feasibility for having this happen, if there's any ideas of a wall we could get this on. Otherwise, we would also be interested in creating it on a temporary structure that could be moved around the city and start to share some of the stories of our Salvadorian community in the city. So with that, I'll stop sharing and any questions?
So the ask tonight is for the printing of the poetry, to have them for Poetry Month.
That is the ask tonight, yes. And then I am just interested in seeing how we can get this mural discussion going as well.
And then you and I had spoke earlier today, and you're still trying to find a location for the mural. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So I believe that is something that we would like, the commission to weigh in on. If anybody knows of a location that the mural could go at. And originally, when I talked to Laura about this, we thought if we could put it in a large enough space that we can add on stories to it. So it's not just one poem and one story or collaboration of one community. It would be a collaboration of the whole communities together in the city in representation of the different cultures, and have it be multicultural. So it would have to be a larger space, but if we can't find a large space, then, a space that would fit this mural to start would be excellent if we could find a permanent location. Anybody have any thoughts?
I also hear about a mobile. Did she mention something about not finding if they can't find a permanent location, having it so it's movable? Is that still an option as well? That's just Plan B.
Yeah,
that would be Plan B.
Okay, got it. Okay.
That's Plan B. And I have talked to Tom Baum regarding the vacant gas station at the corner of Monticello and West Street. I asked him if he would contact the property owners, because he does have direct contact with them, to ask if we could put a temporary structure, how they did for the George Floyd mural. They had it down at City Dock and it was on a structure and they painted on that. If we could possibly do some sort of beautification there, if we cannot find a permanent location for it, at least we could start creating it and then possibly take it to its permanent location and hang it there once we found a place.
Yeah, because I was sitting there thinking about it. If you wanted to do a continual mural, it might be a good idea to do it sectionally, that way, so that it can be as big as you want. And well, I mean, as big as you want, but I mean, you're not restricted by a particular wall size. Whereas you just add more panels as you get more stories told, and you can kind of break those down and separate them or add them together. Another option. I'm just thinking about that too, in terms of, especially if you want to go big and go classic with it.
Yeah, it is definitely.
David, this is Krista. I actually really like that idea. It's interesting because I had a little trouble getting on tonight's call, and I'm a little behind the 8 ball here in looking at materials and stuff for tonight. But my thought before anyone mentioned it was that this would be really great if we could actually have it, not necessarily a pop-up into all the different wards, but doing something that was sort of a traveling type mural. My thought on it too was that depending on how big the murals are, I think you said this one would be 10 feet by 12 feet, or that's what you were going for. That's kind of an in between size. It's not huge, but it's not small either. But I do like the idea of then gathering different murals that are part of this project and then having a showing, having some sort of a gallery showing of the murals if they were able to be, mobile, traveling exhibit, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that idea a lot with this particular one.
Trying to envision what 10 by 12 actually looks like in terms of, for like gallery space, or if you even, where to just display these things. I mean, obviously you could do it outside, but come wintertime, you want someplace indoors to do it as well.
Well, I'm also thinking what maybe Maryland Hall would do something like this, depending on, I don't want to get too big on it, but the other thing too is a long time ago or a while back now, with COVID, it's been so crazy. Time kind of seems like it's warping with me. But I know that over by the Brewster's ice cream shop, which is, I believe, Ward 5, off of Forest Drive, they at one time were talking about doing a mural on the side of their restaurant, which then backs up to another restaurant as well. So I think you have the Little Italy there, you have the Brewster's, and then you have another restaurant.
Right there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's an option of a place where there could be a mural. I'm not saying that this one should go there. What I don't like about that space is you can't really see it as you're driving by. So it's more of like an alley viewing between the two restaurants. But people were saying, well, are there spaces that people want to put murals up? That had been one of them. But I really do like the idea of it, being a traveling type project that continues on. I like that very much, David.
So I would add, if the temporary structure is the idea that we're most interested in, Maryland Hall has committed to doing a gallery of Latinx art for the Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm working with them on that, and also with these 4 artists and more, to do basically September 15th through October 15th, which is Hispanic Heritage Month, and then continuing on until November 2nd, which is the Day of the Dead Festival, the Day of the Dead, and then actually earlier is going to be the Day of the Dead Festival. So it's going to go through November 2nd, and maybe in that gallery, this could have a home for at least a month and a half.
Yeah, I think it's something that we could definitely work with and work it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask a very potentially wonky question that I just don't know the answer to? The sort of movement, if we were to sponsor this, the movement of it into and out of potentially private spaces, does that affect our ability to fund the project? I mean, because we're talking about theoretical future spaces. Do you know what I'm asking?
Yeah. So it would be probably like an insurance factor, and we'd have to have legal workout contracts with whoever was putting it on their property to define who's responsible if XYZ happens or whatever. There are a ton of places too that are city owned that we could put it on, we could, in all the city parks. And that would kind of solve some of that. But it's still, yes, we can still fund art on private property. It has to be defined who's responsible for it. And
okay, that's what I thought. Just wanted to check.
Yeah, generally the city is not responsible for anything on private property. Ashley can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's how it works. But so I guess we'll continue the discussion, Laura, and see if anybody has a suggestion for, a permanent location on a building or so forth. Let us know, but maybe we do move ahead with the mobile art exhibit as a, large piece by piece mural and move it throughout the city. I kind of like that idea too, because we do need more art outside of Ward 1 and all the other wards and stuff. So, but I do believe, so Laura had an ask of $800 to print more of the poetry books for Poetry Month. So I'll ask the commission, do we have a motion to support that?
I'll make the motion to support the $800 for the reprint.
Okay, and I'd like to second that motion, please. Before we take the vote, I do want to point out that the money would go to the publisher, just so everybody knows. So the publisher would invoice us and we would submit it to procurement, and then they would pay the publisher directly.
Then if you have a quick question, would we still have access to the digital copy if you wanted to put it on our social media, like during Hispanic Heritage Month or during Poetry Month?
I believe so. Laura, we should have that.
Yeah, I can share that for sure.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, Joe, do you want to
And
do
this is Krista. I had a question. Where do they get distributed to, these copies?
So some to family members. We have about 50 family members who are asking for copies. And the public libraries is the second place I would really like to see them, in the city's public libraries.
And how many copies do we get? How many copies do we get for $800?
100. They might, I think last time they gave us 2 or 3 extra books that they had printed.
So for $800, we only get 100 copies?
Yes.
$8.
Madam Chair, what are your thoughts on that?
It's $8 each. And how many pages isn't in it, Laura?
It's about 60 pages. They're nice. It's a nice bound book.
It's a really nice book. They've already printed 2 runs or 1 run. Can't remember now.
We did 1 of 100 already and got one out that first day.
Okay.
My thought on this, I mean, I definitely want to support it. But my thought on this was maybe, Joe, are you there? Do you know if there's any grant monies for publications of projects? That like if we have maybe a joint sponsor on some of these types of printed projects, do we have a partner or joint sponsor that could help us with stuff like this?
I don't think so, because the grant money usually goes for the creation of the project. Especially that on something that's that small. I think it would be a hard sell to to find kind of new money for an existing project like that.
I guess for me, I have mixed emotions on this one.
And that's okay, Krista. We're out of discussion though. We've already got a motion on the floor that we can vote on.
Okay, go ahead.
Joe, can I have a roll call for the motion, please, to support $800 to the publishing company to print 100 new poetry books.
Genevieve,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Oh, Joe, yes. Barbara,
Yes.
Krissa,
Yes.
and Cynthia.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for presenting.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
And I will make sure to also, if you guys are interested in seeing the book, the copies that we have, we can share those. And once we have them printed again, we can get a copy to each commission member.
That'll be awesome.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Maybe we're going to put it on our website so people can access it.
Great. Yeah, Laura, is it already on the city site?
It's not, because the design is actually set up for the printing. It's not set up for a digital, but I'll just ask to get that in a digital format as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next up, we will continue the conversation about the Jazz Festival sponsorship. Madeline, if we could bring Paulina and Teresa in, please.
Yeah, they're already in.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, well, thank you very much for seeing us. I think I see my partner, Paulina, is coming on. So when we left off, you guys gave us some fabulous feedback that you wanted to see more local artists that are familiar with Annapolis. And we went in and we got the contracts. So we've sent that to you. And I'd like to sort of revisit just a few things that we've tweaked as we've incorporated all of your suggestions. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
I see it.
Perfect. Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful. So there are a couple of AIPPC board members that are new faces to me. So I'm just going to briefly breeze over this to say that we're very excited to be creating the Annapolis Jazz and Roots Festival because Annapolis has a rich history of being a stronghold for jazz. Concerts were held from Carr's Beach and Sparrows Beach through to the historic Maryland Inn. And the Maryland Jazz Festival held at St. John's College. And that Charlie Bird was the director. So we have been working on creating a new jazz festival for 2 years. Paulina Phillips is the executive director. And while we have experienced a pause because of COVID and other factors, we're feeling everything looks fabulous to move forward to hold the festival November of 2022. And that'll go from November 4 through November 15. And we're going to center it in Eastport. And we're working with the Eastport United Methodist Church. And we've found fabulous locations and sites within a 3-mile radius within Eastport. And we are very excited about having that. And Paulina, I can't see the screen to see if you want to pipe in. So was there anything you wanted to say before we moved on to the artists? All right. I'm not hearing you, so I'm going to keep going.
Oh, you're muted. You're definitely muted now.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so one of the things that's different is I thought about the last year of the Annapolis Jazz Festival. Are any of you old enough to have actually attended that? Yes? No?
Which
I think we're all within the
Annapolis
age
Jazz.
range.
Sorry?
We might all be within the age range.
yeah. I
Okay,
think-
so
yeah.
did any of you attend that? It went on for years, the Annapolis Jazz Festival at St. John's, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we thought about a really wonderful thing that Unified Jazz Ensemble, their very first appearance in Annapolis ever was at the last year of the Annapolis Jazz Festival. So that was their first year. And of course, you know, if you think about the four basic members, they're extremely well trained, and they're so familiar to so many people that a lot of people don't realize the degree of training and expertise that they have, but we do. And we thought we would bring them into some of the programs. So one of the things that we did is, for example, instead of having the Russian violinist, Natalie, bring her band, she's going to be doing a performance with Unified Jazz Ensemble. And they're known for doing collaborations, especially in other cities. And but they do it in Annapolis too. Anyway, so she's already a member of the Annapolis Symphony Orchestra, but she's performed in many different countries. And so that adds some excitement to, to their playing and so forth. And then there's another woman whose program, we wanted to have two of her programs, Renee Collins-George, if anybody remembers from last time. She is a woman who was one of the three main singers with Ray Charles, in the 5 to 7 years before that ended. And she also performs all over the world. She happens to live just over the PG line, but her son sails in Annapolis. He's gone to school in Anne Arundel County. He's still in high school here. She's donated more services and money to Annapolis causes than a lot of people that I know who live here. So we thought, okay, she has she's not an Annapolitan, but she's definitely within commuting distance, which is something that you suggested, that the artist be within commuting distance. And so she's going to do a performance too, with Unified Jazz Ensemble. And it's really good using a band like that too, because they can read music, they can adapt programs and so forth. So they're developing one program that's especially for families and kids. And then she'll have another performance, which is New Orleans jazz with plenty of trombone and so, horns. That's different. So we made a few differences, a few changes like that to integrate players who were in the city with some of the special guests that we wanted to have. And then we separated, we supplied a list of the artists who are going to perform on AIPPC stages. And then we also broke out the cost for production. We listed some of the additional costs because with production, I thought you mainly meant sound or sound and lights. We said what the maintenance would be and that sort of thing. And we redid the budget so that it was more precise with all, with those added figures. So you could break out the AIPPC stages, the ones that, that we wanted to do that way. So
to go quickly through the artists that we have that are locals, and that artists that commute to and are a part of the art scene of Annapolis. We have Jefferson Holland, which I'm sure everyone knows. He's going to be presenting Chesapeake tunes and sea shanties. That's a great family-friendly event. And then, of course, sorry, we're going to go to, that's Renee right there. And that's Natalie Meredith, who is also, she performs with the Annapolis Symphony Orchestra. And so she's fabulous. All of these artists are just stunning. And then we have a klezmer band. Now, Christopher Belgica, he is a veteran. He is within commuting distance. Again, we really, that was a fabulous recommendation and suggestion, and we really tried to make sure that we adhere to that. And then, of course, Hot Club of Baltimore. I hope I'm not making anyone dizzy. So Hot Club of Baltimore, also he is internationally known, but he is local, and he has popped up and been a part of the music scene. He actually was at my grandmother's at Ginger Cove. He performed there. He performs downtown. Like that.
Signing Under the Stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had him at 49 West and everything. We've had him at Ramshead actually also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yes. So then let's go to the budget. So Genevieve, thank you so much for calling yesterday. That was fantastic, and it helped us have the clarity. So we have created the contracts where we're able to break down the costs for each of the events. And we have a budget that we've broken down. Paulina, which one would you like me to open first?
Well, I guess I don't know. Do you want to see the overall artist budget first, you guys, or would you rather see the breakdown for the AIPPC stages?
Because we've got both.
Yeah, I think we should focus on the funding that you're asking from us.
Sure. Okay. So not the artist, but the budget. Go to the budget. Okay.
Is this it? Yeah. Would that be what we're talking about, Paulina?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you said. The Genevieve wanted the
yes.
Production cost. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've shown you the pictures.
Excuse me, this is Krista. Is there also money that's separate with regards to the artist budget, or do you just want? Are we just looking at?
Well, we were told that we should focus originally on the artist budget, and then we were told yesterday to also, give the production costs, and also to narrow the list of artists that we would request funds for. To the local artists. So there are a few artists that are international for whom we will look for funding from, for example, Maryland.
Yeah, I think at this point, what I would be looking for as a commissioner for our ward would be, kind of bottom lining it of what funds you'd be asking us for, whether they're for artists or whether they're for production, but kind of getting to the point of, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we have those totals, yeah.
Yeah, Krista, I just sent you a screenshot of the breakdown because I know you're on the phone, so you can't see the screen that's being shared.
I was thinking of,
Thank you, Genevieve. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. So for that, now we have, so the total of the artist fees is $10,000. The total sound expenses is $3,600. And the rental and the cleaning fees will be $1,680. Now, we are presenting at multiple sites. We're very excited about both. We think that the Eastport United Methodist Church is a fantastic home base, but we're also talking with the Eastport Elementary School, and we're talking with St. Anne's. Paulina, do you want to mention others? I don't want to move from the screen.
Yeah, we didn't put the list up here, but if I can think, Maritime, the new brewery, what's Forward Brewing, yeah, but they just had the baby, so we're waiting for things to calm down a little bit there. And then Peerless, what are they called? Peerless Red.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, we haven't heard back from St. Luke's because the person who, they had us give a presentation in December, and the person who takes care of the office went on vacation. They said she'd be back the 17th, but she hasn't. There's no one manning the phone, so I haven't got an answer on that. I did want to point out that nationally, that churches have become really important presentation sites. And as I said last time, you know, I'm a panelist with the Maryland State Arts Council, and a lot of the best series we're seeing in the state are based in churches, and they're just, people come from, whether they have a religion or don't have a religion, or, you know, aren't affiliated with the church whatsoever, but you have these beautiful big spaces, you know. So then, let's see, Maritime Museum, there are about 10 different sites, and we're having meetings. We have about at least 3 a week.
Yeah.
And we're working out all the details so with that.
So this breaks down mainly the things that I believe we spoke about yesterday, Genevieve. Is there anything else not included in this page that you have questions on, or?
No, I believe this outlines everything that you're proposing.
Yay! Brilliant.
Yeah,
thanks for working with us.
Certainly. Does anybody else in the commission have questions regarding this breakdown? Don't just raise your hand. Go ahead and talk because I can't see.
Are there any additional fees other than this 10,000 that you'll be coming back at us for at a later date?
I can't think of anything. Would you suggest something we might like to ask?
No, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that is the bottom line that you want 10,000 and that's it?
Or do you want the
No,
15,280 that's the total?
Yeah.
We
Also,
would prefer to have help with the production costs as well. And then as I said, we removed some of the other artists who are, you know, further away, and we'll look at other sources for that, including sponsorships.
Yeah, because what I'm looking at right now is the 10,000 bottom line. I'm not looking, again, I'm on the phone, so my apologies on my end for this. So I guess I'm asking the commission members, since you all have had a chance to review all of the numbers, what I'm seeing is just the bottom line 10,000, but I'm not necessarily sure that that includes, you know, some of these other production costs. So anyway, David, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I'm just reading. It says total AIPP sound expenses 3,600 total between the 10,000 and 3,600 to 1,680 is like 15,280. Is that what you're asking for? Just want to. I missed a good part of last week's meeting, so I'm catching up as well. I'm sorry.
That's exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me a question. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Pauline.
Oh, okay. So, so we were asking for the artist fees and the sound expenses. We didn't know whether you would consider rent and cleaning fees. So I just put it there so you could see, you know,
okay,
what they were.
Thank you.
So Krista, the motion can be made, you know, to either support, to sponsor the whole ask, or we can break it out and we can do artists, or we can do the artists and the sound expenses, which is 3,600 in addition to the 10,000. So that's, we asked them to break it down to all local artists per our code, you know, we have to support. And then these events would be free and open to the public, not ticketed.
Yes,
right.
Right.
They would be free and open to the public. However, depending on what the health situation is and for crowd control, we will probably ask people to go to a ticket site for which they pay no money. Yeah.
Okay. So they would just register so you can contact.
You keep track of the numbers, basically.
Exactly.
Yes, and so people don't get frustrated, and also for health.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay.
Good idea. Okay. Any other questions?
That's all. I just wanted to make sure that if we were voting, that whether I was going to vote on 10,000 or whether I was going to vote on, you know, more than that. So, okay.
Question. Yeah.
So, and I guess, you know, it kind of gets back to me, I guess, Genevieve, I saw your message about our budget in terms of, I know we've got some things on our bucket list as well.
Yeah, so summer programming for us still, we have an expense of roughly around 15,000 that will still come out of our budget. And then if we're going to move forward with the RFP for the Westgate Circle, we're looking to hold 20,000 to 25,000 aside to initiate that with the artists from the get-go while we try to find matching funds. And that's a whole nother discussion that we can have later.
Right.
So that brings us, honestly, I ran the numbers here that's what I've been doing over here on my scribble pad. If we put aside for the sculpture after what we've awarded tonight, we put aside for the sculpture and then we take the 15,000 out for summer programming. And by the way, that's a rough number, but it does include production.
Okay, I saw the email about the gentleman and the sound. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
so
cool.
we have-
Okay, cool.
So that would be all inclusive. It could be less if we didn't include sound and continue to ask the bands to bring sound. That brings us right around having 10,000 in there to consider this proposal until our next fiscal year budget comes in. So that would mean that anything further that came in front of us,
We wouldn't be able to support.
we wouldn't be able to support until July when our new funding comes
Okay.
in. So, but that's saying that, I mean, maybe we don't put aside as much for the sculpture. Like I said, that's a whole nother conversation that we need to have later. So, but that's just where we are. So we're at 72,000 right now, minus what we granted already tonight. We're at 59. And then summer programming is 15 from that 59. So that brings us down to 44. And then taking the sculpture money from that brings us down to, like I said, like around 10 to 15. So depending, because I do have, I'm trying to think right now off the top of my head, I have one outstanding balance of 1,500 that still needs to be paid and hasn't been reflected in our budget. I know all these numbers is confusing, but
Yeah, I got you. I
yeah.
got you. I got
Does
you.
this include, does this include all of the gallery money that we need to pay for the hanging of the gallery and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so she gets
Are we
paid.
spoken for? Okay.
Yeah, so she gets paid.
Okay.
That is included in my outstanding balances. So
Yeah, I know we've been very generous in our meetings lately. Over the last several months, we've been pushing things forward, which is exciting. But I just want us to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible and not backing ourselves into a corner if something else is going to come up that we're going to need as well. But, I know we all want to support. This is a great project as well. So anyway, with that said,
that was sort of my
yeah, I
thought
guess
exactly. I don't want us to, be poor towards, people come through. And I guess something always pops up as it always does. And I know, the RFP for Westgate Circle, and we keep kicking that can down the road. And I think, at some point in time, we need to kind of pull the trigger on that. That's just my personal opinion. There are other people here who can speak up as well, but, and agree, this is an awesome, I remember the Jazz Festival. I went to it a couple of times. Been involved in a lot of festivals, so I'm definitely supportive of this. But we have to again consider other things too.
I do want to say a few things. Our artistic director pointed out that since we get national publicity for everything that we do, it does help raise the stature of the local musicians who don't usually get that level of publicity and so forth. Okay. And it also does draw a lot of tourism. So, I've worked on this type of festival before, and we get regional audiences. And I think, as I mentioned before, that in the last festival that I worked on for 12 years, I had people coming from 12 states and spending a lot of money. But one of the things that's really important to us, too, is to have some solid funding, and it helps for the matching grants. So, we have found out that there are so many grant deadlines that are almost concurrent, in the next couple months, and we really want to go to town, really do a lot of fundraising. One other thing I wanted to say is that we are bringing in a little bit of historical information and discussions. So besides the performances, and this is much more family oriented in many aspects than a lot of jazz festivals where older people come, get really drunk, and really have a good time listening to jazz. But I think it'll still be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and we do have evenings planned where people will be in restaurants and you can do have a glass of wine or that sort of thing. But I think it's pretty varietal, and it's getting richer and richer as we go through week by week and talk to different people. So, we did come up with some really good discussion programs and videos that can be seen and reseen and that sort of thing on top of what you've seen here. There are more things. So
I did have one last question, and that
Yeah.
was, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
With regards to the date of the festival, or
Yeah.
dates, I should say, of the festival, has anyone looked to see if there's any major conflicts with any other major events that are taking place in the city that weekend?
Well,
Curious.
we studied this for almost 6 months or something, and then met with all the major cultural institutions, at the time when we did the planning, and we came up with, it's after the boat show, and sometimes you will have one organization or another that will have something going on, but as much as possible, we try to thematically link up with them. So there are a couple of theaters and presenting organizations that we haven't decided, that haven't decided for sure. So, for example, St. Anne's expects to come with us, but we're melding their performance series with ours so that they can present jazz. So it's mutually beneficial. We strengthen their programs, and we're starting something new at the same time. I don't know if I answered your question.
So Chris, how this would work is we're paying the artist fees, so they would bill us after they perform. So it's the money isn't necessarily going down as an initial like Kickstarter. It's to actually support the artist's performance at that are listed here in the breakdown. And so they're asking for $10,000 for the artists. And then,
Okay.
and then so like how our summer programming works, after the artist performs, they would
Right.
send the invoice to the
So it'll be
city.
accrued basically
Right.
over the course of
Yes.
several months. So
Yes.
it's not all leaving the bank at the same
Right.
time.
No, it's not.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to ask the commission that do we have a motion to support the Jazz Fest for the performances? And if so, what amount do you suggest that is awarded?
Can I ask a question, or are you asking for a motion?
Go ahead. Nobody's motioned
Okay.
yet. So
Just in terms of the question of how much, I'm sort of crunching other numbers here, and if we're trying to kind of prioritize the money that we have available, it seems like the priority would be the performances over the lectures, which is a way to kind of reduce a little bit. And then I know this is all kind of false because it's a performance, but to sort of focus on artist fees within the within that top category. And that gets us, if we just prioritize that, that's $9,000, which is, given our constraints, still a lot of money, but it helps me to just kind of work it through and sort of focus on those components. But I'm reading that correctly, right? That we can, like, there's kind of two components. There's the performance components, and then there's the separate content, which I appreciate.
And we can also work on getting grants that have, humanities and history grants. So,
that's partly why I'm
legwork, but we've been working, so
Sure.
I guess we'll expect to continue
Yeah.
that. So.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we have a motion to support?
Joe, are you going to make your motion?
I was asking informational questions. I think I'm just thinking about sort of, yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate the amount of work that you've done to kind of retailer it to sort of the conversation that we had. I think I would make a motion to support an investment of 7,500 for this.
Do I have a second?
This is David, I second.
Joe, could you do a roll call, please?
Sure. Genevieve.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Joe, yes. Krissa.
Yes.
Cynthia.
Yes.
And Barbara.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Wonderful.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for presenting and for putting all this together. It's not easy by any means, and it's a lot of work. And I know it's a labor of love for both of you. So we're excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And we really appreciate the calls and the support of this. And we look forward to what is to come.
Thank you.
Alrighty
We'll see you guys
then.
soon.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Oh, and we did get that. You already know, Genevieve, we got the letter of support from the mayor, which is good to help us with our other fundraising as well, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good luck, ladies, and keep us
All right,
posted.
should we go now? Thank you so much.
Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone.
All right. Have a good
Have a
night.
good night.
Too. Good night.
Okay. Now we can go into open discussion. Does anybody have anything they would like to present for open discussion? I may have forgotten early on.
So since you mentioned Westgate Circle, what is the process for it? What do we have to do for that?
Okay, so I sent out in another email the previous RFP for Westgate Circle for the sculpture that was taken down. For you guys to review, I'd like to start working with procurement to draft up just some basic guidelines for it. And they said, essentially what we'll be doing is just editing the RFP from previously and incorporating what we want to be in there. So I'd like to leave time to discuss this at the next month's meeting so we can dive into it deeper, figure out what exactly we have a vision for and what the RFP will be for. I talked to Rick Cassidy tonight to get some numbers. I know we have quite a few bronze sculptures that are permanent installations throughout the city, so we could get figures from that. But he also said that if we were to do a 12 by 12 sculpture at Westgate Circle, that it's probably going to run close to $200,000.
Yes.
That's what I was expecting.
Okay.
But he is very confident that that we could, do a Kickstarter program and get funding, as well as we could ask for grants if there's anything open. We could also ask for sponsorships from the state and from the county. And, the Arts Council, of course, helps us with grants and figuring out where we can find additional funding. I don't want to promise anything, but I'm pretty sure that we could get some, public funding, especially from the businesses that surround the area. I know Alan Hyatt has made comments about the previous sculpture at Westgate Circle and the need for a replacement one. So he is well aware. So we could go to people like that as well. But it would have to be set up through some sort of funding system because we can't take the funds directly. So we would have to work all of that out within the RFP and figure out how to move forward with that. So Rick did say that 25,000 would be a good starter point for the artists to start diving into the sculpture. They have to do, clay models first and do a production of what it would be. He said it probably would take about a year too for us to keep that in mind. So,
okay. A lot to think about.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot to discuss, and that's why I want to start discussing it next month. But I wanted to give you the general information now, so we can start building it and have the discussion in March. Go ahead, Brian.
Just as a point of reference, when we did the Bermuda statue, I think the Hellenistic Society of America that donated it to us said that I don't know if they paid the artist or that it was $350,000 for that bronze statue. And I think that the other newest piece of art, a memorial, actually the Capitol Memorial, I think was about double that. So
yeah,
200,000 would probably be the very low end, I would think, for something of the statue that you're talking about in the middle of that circle.
Yeah, and that's just for the statue. That doesn't include, the cement base and the preparing the site and moving it and all that stuff. So there'll be extra fees tacked onto it.
Cool. And if I recall correct, weren't you thinking about getting a committee together of people outside of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be juried. And then however we want to set it up. If we want to jury it to the top 3, and then the top 3 is presented to the commission, that way 10 different projects aren't coming directly to the commission to have to go through all the applications and everything. The city would vet it and then jury them through the panel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was originally suggested that it was 3 commission members and 3 community members. The ward rep, Joe, because he has experience writing grants and he can help us find the money for it. And then I believe, David, you said that you wanted to do it as vice chair. So,
okay.
But again, that's open for our discussion next month.
Cool.
But
all right.
But yeah, we have been, like you said, kicking the can down the road, waiting for the funds. And now that we have the 3% of the hotel tax coming in yearly, now is the time that we honestly can start having this conversation about having a permanent installation at Westgate Circle, because the funds will be there for us to at least start something and have others match the funds.
Cool.
Help fund it. Yeah, we definitely don't have the funds to fund all of it, but
we don't.
I
$500 million, no.
Yeah,
might have to have a big fundraiser, kind of a big event thing,
right?
Fundraisers.
That's what a lot.
Yeah, and Rick was very confident that once everybody saw the concept from the artist, or that they would start writing checks, and people do want a new installation on Westgate Circle. So it's not like we're doing something that the community hasn't asked for. But we are just finally in that position financially to be able to start the conversation and talk about what drafting the RFP is going to look like. So
cool.
And on the grant side, I mean, the kind of longer term, more permanent installation, that's just a whole different category of grants, and those grants tend to be bigger. So they're matched to the scale of the project.
Yeah. So there is definite potential for us to have this funded. So I feel good about it. I know the price tag looks really scary, especially for us. For us as a commission, we weren't funded for a couple of years, and now we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Especially considering how much we paid for the first sculpture. I mean,
Yeah, there's a difference. So
yes.
Anybody else have any other comments about it for now? But we will definitely put it on the agenda to talk in depth next month too. Do we have any other open discussion?
I just want to remind everybody, we discussed the budget earlier. We want to make sure we keep aside money for the Greater Parole Community Association, their summer concert series. We've been partnering and collaborators with them for many years. And we want to make sure that they have enough funding from us for their season.
That's a good point, Cynthia. Thank you.
We're also going to have next month Anthony coming back and probably asking for 10,000 too, but maybe that could be the 1st of July, and then once we get into the next budget.
Yeah, because we still don't know the timeline of that, and he's referring to the Umbrella Sky project for Maryland Avenue is what Brian's talking about. So we still don't know when they project to have installation, do we, Brian?
They're shooting for middle to end of June for 90 days. So like June, July, August, or July, August, September.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And I second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Good
Thank
night,
you, everyone.
everybody.
Good night, folks.